Ganna, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Just fine. Good to see you. Love the glasses. That's a good look for you.
Thank you. I can't see with them on.
You can't see. You need a new optometrist, I think.
Purely for looks. I don't need them.
Those are just glass, are they? Are they?
They're just glass.
They're just glass. Oh, that's cool though. Like I said, I like the look. Tony says, "Who's this chick?" We can't take Tony anywhere. Are you listening to the YouTube or the Zoom? We're not on a delay here, right?
You might be on a delay, but I don't have anything open. I just have that potato internet, so.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'll just adjust. Well, what brings you to the show? Of course. What brings you to the show tonight, Ganna?
So the last time you talked about this, I wanted to call in so bad. I was driving and I had to work, and I'm like, Jim, I'm so happy you're talking about this again.
Cool.
So I'm a vapor.
I did not know that.
I am. I started smoking when I was 17, and I've only been vaping for 3 years. But I can say that I can breathe better. I don't smell like an ashtray. There's so many positives that just outweigh the negatives to me. I don't know.
No, you're absolutely right. And of course, I'm biased. I'm going to be singing these praises. I'm sure you've heard my history, right? I stopped smoking about 10 years ago. I started about the same time you did. It was a little bit earlier, actually. And but 10 years ago, I stopped. And I loved it so much when I found a flavor that I enjoyed and I knew what I was actually putting into my body, I started selling them. Did that for 2 or 3 years.
That.
Yeah, did that for about 2 or 3 years. And then my state started cracking down. And I saw the writing on the wall. And I said, I'm not going to watch a business fold when it's, too large and people are depending on it. So I stopped selling probably in 13 or 14. I think it was 14. So, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah. All these recent bans, I'm like, what is going on? I've had friends that converted over after smoking for most of their lives. And I'm like, you have to try this. You will feel so much better. And they do. After a couple of weeks, they can breathe normally. They don't have that tight or horrible cough. And it drives me insane. I don't know.
It's totally liberating is what I'll say. And for those of us who have addictive personalities, it was a godsend because now we're putting in, 4 or 5 chemicals instead of 4,000, most of which are safe individually and even in this form, just not overcooked. And, honestly, Ganna, between you and I and everyone else, I think Big Tobacco is behind this. Big Tobacco and Big Pharma, because they've lost revenue on cigarettes, which is huge, like Tony was just saying, and they're cutting into those ineffective patches and Chantix and gums and lozenges and all that crap. What do you think? Am I right there?
Mm-hmm. I think that sounds right. And I don't know why people are trying to buy THC or off-brand products. You're just asking for trouble. Random story with that. When I went to a vape shop, they were making their own juices in-house. And I just got this feeling like you cannot be doing that. This doesn't look sanitary, first of all, and you're not measuring anything. How do I know that you know what that is? Like, why would you get something so sketchy and then put it in your body? Like,
I feel that way whenever I would, whenever I would order juices from China, which is how we had to do it in the early days because there weren't a lot of manufacturers. Yeah. I always felt like that. I was like, what is really in this? And quickly found some American made and listed ingredients and started making my own as well. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Things have come so far. I remember when they first started coming out, and they were like the blue pens, and they had all these other things. And now I feel more comfortable buying flavored juices, and I'm comfortable with my mod, and I know a little bit more about electricity and how it works now because of that. So some positives. And I know it's not the best thing to take in, and I know it's not healthy. I'm not saying it's healthy at all, but to me, based on what I was doing before, I feel so much better. And I don't want to go back to cancer sticks.
No,
I don't want to do that.
I am right there with you. Right there with you. And I, I don't mind saying this. I enjoy it so much that I fear that I would go back, because I always enjoyed smoking. Seriously. I mean, literally everything about it, except for the impaired breathing and the impending doom of an early death. But, honestly,
I enjoy it too.
Oh,
I enjoy it with coffee, driving.
Yep.
When I'm working, it's just, I have to have something.
Yeah. I like the flavor. I like the feel. I like, everything about it. So I don't know what I would do if they stop. Of course, I could make my own. That wouldn't be that difficult. I'm talking about the hardware as well. So I wouldn't be too worried. I could literally vape forever. But still.
I've made my own. My problem is I can't get the flavor that I want. It never tastes right to me.
Takes a lot of experimentation to get it right. I know.
So much.
Yeah, but I'm lazy, so I actually buy it. And plus, I get it so cheap. I think you guys have all heard that my favorite right now, and see, I'm one of those guys who don't do a flavor necessarily. It's vanilla tobacco. That's how closely tied I am to, original smoking. But I get these things for like $6 a bottle. This will last me a week, but I get to cut it in 3 because I buy it at 24, and I make 3 bottles out of 1. So literally $2 a week is what it costs me to vape.
Wow.
Imagine.
That's great.
Yeah, because all you've got to do is buy VG and PG and then mix it. I like 50-50 mix. And all it does is
cut that.
Yeah, cut it 3 ways. Cut it 3 ways and then fill the bottles up the rest of the way. And I'm still at 50-50, and I'm at 8 milligrams of nicotine. Yeah, it saves me a crap ton of cash. Not only that, but I'm also a rebuilder. My most of my tanks are RTAs, so I actually do my coils and everything else. I'm a little too deep into it.
I tried that, but man, I got into it pretty deep too. I have a whole bunch of stuff, and I just got to the point where I'm going to buy new coils. I don't want to mess with making my own, and I did try it out though.
Yeah. Well, there's a huge advantage. Yeah, there's a huge advantage to buying it from someone else, because it's a pain in the ass, and for those of us who don't want to have to go through all that.
Oh yes.
Naked vaped. Oh,
it is such a pain.
Brand Ariels, how you doing, by the way, bud? Says he is naked vaped, no flavor, but he gets his nicotine. Yeah, I've done that too, and I can do that as long as I have that throat hit, which I love. I could naked vape. Yeah, but I can't stand the sweet flavors.
I like the sweet flavors a little bit.
I was just going to ask you what you were vaping.
Oh, what do I have right now? It's a blackberry cobbler.
And
it's so good. Too good.
No, I have.
But I can do that without any nicotine in it too, because it tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
And the nicotine, it helps, but I don't need it.
Yeah.
I've weaned myself off of it enough that I can go without it.
Above and Beyond Drone says, never vape naked. Jim, it's totally safe to vape naked. I have actually done it. I'm not afraid to admit that. I think you're thinking of cooking bacon.
Cooking bacon, yes. Don't vape in the shower. Don't cook bacon.
Don't cook bacon naked. Don't vape in the shower. Although, waterproof and shockproof,
Ooh,
You,
fancy.
yeah, you can dump it in the pool and pick it up and vape right away. Well, I guess actually the
No shit.
yeah the mod would survive. The tank, of course, would flood, but well,
That's
yeah,
cool, though.
the neighbors do complain, Jim. It's all that yelling from the bacon spatter. Yeah.
Bacon.
Oh, well, let me ask you. You don't get your news from CNN, do you? Please tell me you don't.
No, I haven't watched the news in forever. I get my news from Philip DeFranco when I watch him.
He's actually pretty good at that. I mean, he will cover stories. I'll tell you another one that there's two others that I really enjoy, and they're both converted leftists. If you guys must know, and when I say converted, they still have a whole lot of left-leaning ideas, but they've seen the idiocy that's going on around them, and I love their frankness. And that is Tim Poole and Matt Christensen. If you guys get a chance, go check those guys out, because they dive in not nearly as hard as like Project Veritas, which is much more right-leaning. But they do dig in, and they have some wonderful videos, especially Matt Christensen, man. I love his commentary. He puts out like 1 or 2 a week, and he just puts in digs that are priceless, honestly. I should get that out there.
Just makes me way too depressed.
Oh yeah.
I can't watch it.
It does. And I try not to myself.
I try to listen to the radio in the morning, and I'm like,
Bob Dip says he gets his comedy from CNN. It is a good laugh.
Nice.
Oh man, so many people talking about smoking too. How much did you smoke, Ganna, when you did smoke?
Like 2 packs a day.
Holy cow. You were outdoing me. You could actually...
I worked at a tattoo shop, and then I also was a dog groomer on top of that. So working 2 jobs where it was very acceptable to smoke on breaks and hang out afterwards. And yeah, I smoked a lot.
I would do that too.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, hi, Mom. If I was an alcoholic, I would definitely be at 2 packs a day when I was smoking. But you could set your clock to mine.
Drinking.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I literally opened up a pack just about every single morning, like clockwork. It was really strange. Mm-hmm. Jesse was at 2 packs a day as well. Yeah. Oh, that was Inspired John says he used to drink at lunch meetings. That is liquid lunch, my friend. And that still goes on today.
That's right.
Sometimes I do some day drinking.
It still happens.
But I'm the only boss I got to worry about.
Sometimes you have to.
Yes, you do.
Exactly. You're your own boss. You can drink when you want to.
Absolutely. As long as my client stuff's getting done, I'm good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, I'm glad to hear one. Yeah, you're not getting your news from the alphabet stations and what's the status of vaping down there in Arizona?
I think they want to ban it here. It's not banned yet, but they are working in that direction. I don't know why they don't just regulate it more. I don't get it. I'm expecting to wake up in a few days and all of the stores just be closed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look at Tony. That literally happened to him.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
I think it might happen here.
Yeah.
They've been talking like that. I'm like, don't.
Yeah. It happened in Michigan too. They're one of the largest flavor manufacturers had to close their doors, and hundreds are now without a job. He had vape stores all over the Midwest, as I understand it, and he had to close most of them. It's awful, just awful. Yeah. And the worst part is because terrible. Of people like you, me, and Tony, who found it as a viable alternative, a much less dangerous alternative to smoking. And now they're freaking out. More people die, or more kids die in pools every day than all the people that have died of vaping?
More kids have died in cars out here than have died from vaping.
Yeah.
Like,
where is the sense of perspective?
seriously?
Where is the sense of
It's
perspective here?
insane.
I just don't get it any more than you do, hon. And pardon me for calling you
And
hon.
it's just all recently. Recently,
Yeah.
it's all just come to light. No, it's okay.
Well, I'm
But
of
recently,
that.
they've just been pushing it and pushing it.
Yeah, they have. And that's why I think there's got to be something behind it. Money, lobbying, big pharma, big tobacco. There's got to be something behind this that are putting pressure on news organizations and the government to freak out. And
There's got to be something.
it's not good for us, is it?
And they're winning, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No.
Not good for us at all. Oh, man.
But that's,
Now I'm depressed.
that's all I really had to say. Don't be depressed.
Well,
We'll start an underground sale.
that's where it's going to go. That's where it's going to go.
We'll get off YouTube and do that.
Yeah, you think people are dying now? Wait till bathtub vaping juice starts hitting the shell, or the back streets. People are going to be starting to drop like flies, and then they're going to go, "Oh, how did that happen?" Well, you dumbasses, you had the entire example of prohibition to to look at, and didn't learn
Brake
from it.
fluid and Freon in this one.
Yes, it makes it real nice and thick. Burns real nice. Oh, get up!
Yeah. Ugh. That antifreeze, really sweet.
Oh, man.
Ugh.
Well, that was a scare too, because the propylene glycol is also an antifreeze, but in such a greater
Mhm.
amount than we're taking in by a magnitude. And people were freaking out about that.
It is.
And then the FDA
We're
burnt.
taking propylene glycol in everything.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I've told the story before about my sister and brother-in-law used to work at one of the most famous flavor facilities in the country. They even supplied, in fact, they had the Coke and the Pepsi recipes, both of them. They had to keep both of them in the lock and key, and no one person could know both of them at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And every one of because they did all these different flavors, and almost every one of their concoctions had propylene glycol in it.
Yep.
So we're taking it in all the
It's
time.
in so much.
Mm-hmm. It is. Well, Ganna, don't go back to cancer sticks, all right?
I will try not to. I really don't want to.
I don't either. I don't want to smell like an ashtray any more than you do.
No. And you burn the roof of your car and
Oh,
get
man.
holes in your clothes. It's just not good.
No, it's not good. And I want to go back to what I said a minute ago. And this goes out to everyone, because I know I catch myself saying it in the chat. I sound like Angel calls me Grandpa Jim, and when I refer to the hun and dear and all that kind of thing, it is a term of endearment. It's from my generation, and I try to stop it, but I just can't. I don't want anyone to take
I've
that
been
the wrong
called
way.
worse things, people. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to
Been
take
called
that
a
the
lot
wrong
worse.
way. Yeah, it's not meant in a sexist way. It's more of a term of endearment, actually.
No.
So awesome.
Thank you, Uncle Jim, Grandpa Jim. Jim,
I've been called
I'm
both.
gonna call you Jim.
Jim works for me. Well, Ganna,
Thank you, Jim.
thanks for giving your take on that, hon. I appreciate. Whoops, see there, I did it again. I do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on again, Jim.
Oh,
Always fun.
anytime. Have a good evening, then. Okay.
You too. Thank you.
You bet. And keep away from CNN.
Definitely.